What is going on, guys? Welcome to, I'm sad to say it, our last Southern Charm pop-up episode. Season 9 has come to an end. We got part 2 of the Southern Charm reunion, and I'm so bummed it's over. I enjoyed this season so much. I've said it before, I feel like it was kind of back to like what Southern Charm was like in the beginning. I loved everything about this season, and I've enjoyed so much talking with you guys about it for the past couple of weeks on Saturday mornings. So I'm like bummed that it's coming to an end, but I'm gonna hopefully try and do more pop-ups specifically for like one show. Like we'll see, we'll figure it out, but I enjoyed doing these Southern Charm pop-ups. So I just kind of want to run through the reunion part 2. So let's just get right into it. All right, so in part 2 we are joined by newbies Rod and Rodrigo, and let me tell you, I loved the addition of both of these guys into the cast this season. I think Rod was a great casting choice. I really hope that he is brought back for another season. He was such like a Southern gentleman. He was so nice. It was fun to like watch him with the guys. And I am a Rodrigo stan. Now, I know that we didn't really get to see that much of Rodrigo. I don't know what the reasoning behind that was, but I love having like a gay guy in the mix. I think he is so funny. If you follow him on social media, he is hilarious. I also just wish that I don't know, maybe it was just like first season like jitters. I just feel like he would have gotten in, like he should have like gotten into the mix a little bit more. But I'm hoping that both of them are brought back so we can get a deeper look into their lives and what they do in Charleston. I loved both of them so much. And so I'm glad that they joined us for part 2 of the reunion. It kind of almost came off as though they were like more of like friend of vibes than actual full-time cast members. Nothing wrong with that. I was just expecting maybe one, if not both of them, to be there throughout the entire thing. But it is what it is. I love that as soon as they got into it, Andy had like acknowledged that Rodrigo and his partner Tyler have been together the longest out of any like couple on the show. And Andy did ask Rodrigo what he thinks it is about the boys and them not being able to settle down. And I think Rodrigo nailed it on the head perfectly. And I believe the cast agreed with him. It's the fact that Charleston is such a small town and it is such like a destination area for tourists. It's such a big like bachelorette party or like weekend trip place. And so there are just like kind of like a revolving rotation of like girls that come down to Charleston, and it's easy for the guys to get distracted by that because there's always a shiny new thing. And I loved that Madison called it Temptation Island because truly like that's what it is for them. And I mean, you know, like it is like what it is almost. It's like everyone's like, oh my God, like you're in your like 30s or you're in your 40s. Like you need to like grow up and settle down. And like maybe they just don't want to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they just shouldn't like string along girls that they are talking to for a like long period of time. But if they're not planning on settling down, I mean, it's not something everybody has to do. So I love the way that he explained that Temptation Island was like literally the most perfect way to describe it. And I don't know. I couldn't agree more. They then get into Rod and Olivia and how so many people were like rooting for them to potentially end up together. And it really came down to Olivia saying like it was just the timing of it all. It just was not the right time. And everyone again said he was like the perfect gentleman. And Rod had said that like he loved Olivia because she was like beautiful, funny, smart, like all the things. And I love that they acknowledged like their first date when they had lunch on that bench in the park. And he went and got her gluten-free bread from a bakery and took it to the restaurant so that way they can make her sandwich. And you really can just tell that just like by the way that he acts, he's such a gentleman and he's so handsome. And I know timing is off or was off at the time for Olivia. I do believe that she is dating someone right now. They talked about it a little bit towards the end of the reunion. This man, I believe, named Alex from Dallas. Who knows if that is something that would last, but maybe when the like everything has settled and like I don't know, I just want to see them together. You know what I mean? Like I would love to see the two of them kind of try and give it a go because I just think like they really do enjoy each other's company. I just think that like why not? Why not give it a shot? Now, that's not to say that I want to see JT and Taylor give it a shot because that is not the case whatsoever. I just don't think Taylor is interested in him like that. And I think she was using the fact that timing for her was bad as an excuse because she really just like doesn't want to date him. You know what I mean? I want to know what you guys think about everything between Olivia and Austin because they really did speak a lot about how Olivia gives Austin a pass. And I agree to some point. I do agree that like she really did go in harder on Taylor than she did on Austin. But I also think it is because she kind of maybe had expected that behavior from Austin and wasn't as hurt by it because Taylor and her were such like really good friends. Like they were like best friends. And so the betrayal from Taylor hurt a lot more than it did from a guy that she was talking to for a couple of months that really like if they would have stopped talking, it wouldn't have fazed her as much as it would have fazed her. Her and Taylor had stopped talking due to something else, if that makes sense. But they really get into it though in regards to like giving him the pass because we learn that Taylor and Austin had like ended up on vacation together. Thanks to Craig, we did learn that Austin had brought Olivia on. Did I just confuse Taylor and Olivia? If I did, you guys will understand what I mean. Thanks to Craig because he did clarify that Austin did bring Olivia as a +1 to something, and she ended up hitting it off with the group. The group that they were on vacation with does not want to pick sides, so they just invite both of them whenever they do stuff. And so they ended up on this vacation together. Olivia was on that vacation with her new boyfriend, and she told her boyfriend, like, you don't have to be best friends with him, but like you can be cordial. Fast forward a couple of hours, Austin and the new boyfriend are like riding around on golf carts playing golf together. I mean, listen, I don't think that this is going to be the end of Olivia and Austin kind of like being friends. I feel like as time goes on, it will just see them maybe hang out more. We know now that Austin is dating somebody new. So hopefully enough time passes where they can all just be like, okay, thank God that's over. We can move past this and like be friends and like not have to like rehash that ever again. We did get to a point where, and I loved this moment so much. And it was when Rodrigo had called out Olivia because Olivia had said like, I'm not trying to kick you while you're down. Like people wanted me to like throw drinks at you and flip a table. And like, that's just not who I am. And Rodrigo, like you could see the way, like the looks on his face where he was like calling bullshit. He then responded and said like, girl, like I've watched you kick her while she's been down. Like you've done it all season. And Olivia is trying to like explain herself. And when Rodrigo had stepped in to kind of be like, no, nobody would have faulted you if you would have like done this or whatever. I don't think Olivia had heard what he was trying to say, but she just told him to shut up. And his reaction was like, oh wow, like you did that. You did that, Olivia. Fuck you. And listen, there's nothing better than sass from a gay man. And it was so hilarious to see Rodrigo say that. And it's moments like that where that's why like I want him to come back, because I feel like once he's comfortable like around the group saying what he wants to say, like we're going to get such amazing TV moments from him. And I literally just cannot wait. I just cannot wait for that. Now, Rodrigo has been around really since like the early seasons of Southern Charm. He's been friends with this group and like acquainted with them for a long time. You may have seen him at the parties, like in the background, like he's been in that group. So it's not like they just picked him off the street and like put him into the show. Like he has relationships with these people. So I'm hoping, again, he just gets more comfortable with being in front of the camera and just voices himself some more so we can get some better Rodrigo moments. Now, they did get to a point where they had asked Venita a question from someone that said that they felt that her uninviting Taylor from the girls' day with Olivia right after her brother had passed was a little bit mean girl. Now, I think Venita did an amazing job explaining herself, and I have to agree with what she said. I feel like I thought she was just really keeping Olivia's like best interest in mind and trying to like protect her in the midst of everything that was going on regarding her brother's passing and then having to deal with the Taylor and Austin of everything. And she really just didn't want to like disrupt Taylor's like mindset. So in the moment watching that, I really thought the same thing. Like, girl, like there really isn't a need for you to be there. She has Venita, and then it'd be Venita, Olivia, and Leva really just together, like, you know, just hanging out, trying to give her some peace and like a breakaway from what was going on. I don't think it was mean girl behavior whatsoever. I also don't like the fact that when people don't like something, they automatically run with, oh my God, that's mean girl behavior. Like, come up with something better to say. Like, or just maybe watch it from a different POV, because that's not the case with everything. I do love how far Venita and Olivia have come, especially since last season. They really did talk about how they have been working on their friendship, and Olivia acknowledged like Venita being there for her and being such a good friend. And the cutest moment I thought of the entire episode was when Olivia did acknowledge that at the end, she gave Venita a wink, like kind of like, I love you, girl. Like, thanks for being like such a good friend. Such a good moment. I loved it so much. And I can't wait to see like their friendship kind of just like blossom from there and see what goes on between the two of them. I really feel like Olivia, Leva, Venita, Madison can be like this foursome, like not to be reckoned with. We did get a lot of like chatter from JT, like just like mumblings of him, which is just like so annoying. I can't really tell if I like JT on the show or if I just like find him to be highly irritating. I do think that he has the potential to be great reality TV, but like I feel like he just did a little too much this reunion. JT does tell Craig that Craig is a good person, but you do become the people that you hang out with, and thinks that he needs to hold Austin more accountable, almost saying that Craig like shouldn't be friends with him. And it just felt like JT was doing too much. Like, you can't come in and just tell someone who you think that they should be friends with and then think that they should listen to you. There's so much history between Shep, Austin, and Craig that I don't feel like they need your kind of opinion as to how they should guide their friendship. It really it drove me insane to hear the way that he was like talking to Craig, like, oh, you're like teeing him up just like his therapist did to like let him give you a good answer, like all this stuff. It was just very annoying. Like, he came in like hot off the get-go with the fuckboy exorcism of it all, and like just really like coming at Austin. Like, we get that you don't like him. Everybody in America that watches the show knows that you don't like Austin. You don't have to keep pushing that. It just like was annoying to me. And you guys know I love Austin. I love Craig. I understand, and I believe me, I get it. I've watched. I know that like Austin really didn't take any accountability for what happened between him and Taylor, and kind of like it almost came off as though he let Taylor take a brunt of the reaction for what was going on. I don't agree with that, but I still think that he's like amazing reality TV. We did get into Austin and Shep talking about their issues. Shep says that he is upset because while he was watching the show, he noticed that Austin really didn't show any remorse for anything that happened. And it really irritated him with the way that Austin was acting throughout the entire season. And Austin did say that he was just following Shep's lead and kind of like trying to figure out how to maneuver the entire situation so that way it wasn't like too uncomfortable for people, which I get. I mean, it's almost like you're just not really good in the midst of confrontation. So you're going to follow the lead of the person who you hurt to kind of just watch out for them. To me, that's the way that it came off. But I also did love that Andy asked Shep if JT was the new Craig with the way that they kind of gave him shit. They did this montage of them kind of like giving JT a hard time about being short and like all these things and how he got out of the Uber and the Uber took off. He had to run after it because his luggage was in there. And it really was so funny. They gave him a lot of grief. And Shep had said that he thinks that JT likes it, and which is hilarious because that's exactly what he said when he kind of gave Craig shit in his early seasons. Like, oh, Craig likes it. So it is almost coming off like Shep and JT could be like a duo if JT comes back next season and JT is like a mini Craig, right? I just don't think he'll ever like be Craig, right? I mean, that was kind of rude, but he is successful in his own right. I want to see his like that clubhouse that he was renovating. I love Bunny. I think she's amazing. She's hilarious. The moms of people on these shows are always so funny, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I just said that because I think that he just like annoyed me a little too much this season. I don't know. I don't know. If he comes back, I'm going to give him another shot. Maybe just ease up a little bit on trying to be the epitome of what a Southern gentleman is. We did learn later on in the episode, Craig was like, we get it. You called yourself a gentleman 36 times, but don't think you can hide behind that because we all know who you are. So it makes me believe that they like may have something on JT, or maybe he's acting one way on camera than he does in like real life. I don't know. If that is the case, it would have been perfect for them to have like bring that to light this season so that they can show that like, oh, you're coming after Austin for being this douchebag, but like you're not innocent. Like you're not the Southern gentleman that you say that you are. And I don't know why they didn't. Maybe they did and it just didn't like end up on the show. And if that is the case, hopefully it comes out next season because that would be really good. I do like the fact that they got into the fight between JT and Austin. It was a hilarious moment, especially with Andy involved. And JT saying that it had nothing to do with him being rejected by Taylor. And I kind of want to disagree. But he does say that his feelings for Taylor and his like disdain for Austin, he compartmentalizes it. And he really was just in that moment dealing with the fact that he doesn't like Austin. You were kneeling on a chair, like getting in his face, yelling at him. You were looking for a reaction. And even Andy said, like, you were looking for him to hit you. Like, you were looking for him to get physical. And he kept saying no. Like, yeah, yes, you were. Like, it just drove me insane. Like, it drove me insane, the fact that he just wouldn't admit what he was trying to do. Like, he was almost trying to, like, get off the hook with it, as if he didn't start that entire thing. So they couldn't agree, like, who started the entire situation. I'm just going to say it. I think it was JT. I think all of his kind of like hatred for Austin came to a boiling point and he kind of just popped off. And he got the reaction that he didn't get the reaction he was looking for, because I don't think Austin punched him in the face. I think he just pushed him, but he got that physical altercation I feel like he was looking for, trying to almost make it so Austin would look like a bad person. But JT, you don't have to do that. Sometimes our guy just does that on his own. Taylor did say, then moving on from that, Taylor says that the reason that she went to the reunion is so that she can fix everything between her and Olivia. And she knows that it probably isn't going to get resolved in that moment. We did get Olivia kind of acknowledging that. Olivia saying that she will never be friends with Taylor. They'll never get back to where they were. They will, like, she can be cordial with her and she won't make it miserable for Taylor to be in that space as far as like on the show, but they're just never going to be friends again. And rightfully so. I mean, I hate that for Taylor because I can see her on TV. Like, she just looks so sorry for what she did, but kind of the betrayal that she did to Taylor, it's just like, Taylor will never forgive you. So you guys will never be where you guys once were. At the end of the episode, Andy did say that he noticed how Taylor was looking at Shep the entire time, saying like, you can tell that there are still feelings there. Craig did say that he thinks that they will get married and that they will end up together. And Shep says that he believes that Taylor will be the one that got away. Now, Taylor does have a boyfriend. His name is Gaston. He is TJ's roommate from Southern Hospitality. I believe that they are still together, but I kind of have to agree with the way that Shep was so vulnerable this like seasons, like during the reunion. You can tell that he really feels bad for kind of what he put Taylor through. And now we know Shep went to Costa Rica, and I believe he was there for like a week, kind of on like some type of retreat working on himself. So if he puts in the work and the effort to kind of do his self-improvement, I think Taylor will notice that and that they will end up together. I just feel like there is so much that they left us with kind of wanting more that I cannot wait for season 10 of Southern Charm. I'm assuming that they'll go into production kind of in the next month and a half. They kind of give them a little bit of a break and then get right back into filming. But what did you guys think of the season? Did you like the additions of Rodrigo and Rod? Who do you want to come back? I will tell you this. I would love for all of them to come back, to be honest. I want to see what is going to happen between Shep, Craig, and Austin, knowing that Austin and Craig kind of took a step back from him. Are they going to kind of redefine their friendship? I want to know what's going to happen between Shep and Taylor. I want to know what's going to be going to happen between like Olivia and Austin, and like if they're going to be rebuilding their friendship. So many questions I have, and we're not going to get any of them answered until season 10. And I just know it's probably going to be like 8 months before we even get that. And I'm dying. Like, I just love Southern Charm so much. I want it. I'm like ready for them to air season 10 next week. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, we do still have our Charleston fix. We have Southern Hospitality that airs on Thursdays. We're definitely going to get into that next week. So I can't wait to talk about it. Charleston is my favorite place on earth. I love it so much. So I'm glad that we at least had that show to kind of give us our fix. But again, guys, like I said, these Southern Charm pop-ups have been amazing. I hope that you've enjoyed them. If you haven't, just make sure that you're leaving a review, you're liking, subscribing, doing all the things, and rating the podcast. And Southern Charm pop-ups, we'll see you again in season 10. I love you guys. Bye.